Rieta believes her work is a battle with the devil. Even being shot at by Satanists and threats to abduct her only child haven't weakened her determination.
The only protection for myself is the blood of Jesus Christ. I'm definitely not afraid of them because the God I serve, Jesus Christ, is much more powerful than the devil will ever be. So the protection, no gun, no knife, no bulletproof jacket, no nothing, can protect you against these evil demons that they send out, or even them in person.
The victim in the murder case, Rena Radloff, a 51-year-old mother of 4, lived in the fashionable coastal resort of Scotborough. She was drawn to spiritualism and New Age beliefs. Captain Harley was the first to arrive at the murder scene.
This is where the actual attack took place. We found a lot of blood in this area. There was a lot of blood, high-speed blood, you know, that it had been spraying on this glass. But there wasn't any signs of an actual big struggle or anything. We walked in here, and there was blood in this area, and we followed her footprints that went through here. Obviously, the blood left a nice print on the stick carpet. But there was no signs of anything being disturbed in this area. All along here there was clear drops of blood and footprints where she had actually walked in the blood up to stairs. But when we got into this room, we found that this area had been disturbed. The chair was moved out the way. This is where the body was actually found. She was lying over here with her head in that direction. Okay, these photographs, this is the deceased. This is the ex-husband, Martin Radloff, and this is one of the children, one of the sons. There was a note that was lying right here on the desk, but it was standing up in that direction. But it wasn't a clear-cut note like you normally find from our experience on suicide scenes. It was a note that was written more as a riddle. It was more a lot of phrases that was put together that would, when you read it, you didn't get a clear idea of what was going on.
Rena's throat had been cut. Because of the note, the police suspect suicide at first. Then the autopsy report reveals that she's been stabbed 3 times in the back. Martin, Rena's ex-husband, as the sole beneficiary of her estate, is a prime suspect. He's also been investigated in the past for fraud. But the discovery of strange pictures in a downstairs room appears to confirm the involvement of the occult and clouds the motives for the killing.
This is where we found all these pictures and that on the same evening as the death of the deceased. Pictures were prominently displayed on the wall.
2 weeks later, the police start receiving notes by fax and by post describing how Rena was killed as part of an elaborate ritual. They also contain details of the murder which only the killer could know.
The notes themselves pertain to spiritualism, possibly Satanism.
Rena was murdered between 6 and 7 p.m., and the notes refer to this as well.
There's very relevant information that was not disclosed to the media that is recorded in these notes, which means that the normal individual would not have that information. So we are investigating the aspect of the notes at present.
While Rieta studies the case file, Querbus returns to his hotel in Durban. As commander of the occult squad, he spends almost half his working life away from his home and family.
It's sometimes very lonely, a very morbid sort of work as well, and a work that many people will never do. Many hours of the night, my wife will ask me, but why don't you come to sleep? And I'll be walking in the passages of the house. And of course, all these things go in your mind. Doesn't matter how strong you are as policemen, You see these things every day, the murders and the killings, and it sticks in your mind. You can't forget those pictures.
Later that night, the case takes on a new twist. Brietta arranges a secret meeting with Rena's eldest son and daughter-in-law at the hotel. They arrive with confidential documents which seem to support their suspicion that Martin's new wife Antoinette may be behind the murder. And she is known to dabble in the occult. Brietta's convinced it's a major breakthrough in the case.
Last night, I was very excited about the discovery of the information and how the puzzle fits together and everything. I hardly slept and, being excited about it. And working with occultic cases for the last 10 years and dealing with occultism, Satanism, and all these people, you're actually working on the backyard of the devil himself. And he doesn't want us to be successful in this case. So what he's been doing is he withdraws energy from you. He makes you feel down. He makes you feel negative. You don't want to carry on and things like that. So the way I'm feeling at the moment is quite natural to me. But I will not allow the devil to bring me down, because we are really going to break through with this case.
Bachelor's cup of soup, a generous portion.
Young men think they're great drivers.
From the cultivated unit speaking in Pretoria. I would just like to know, have you completed that identikit I asked you to do? Excellent, excellent, that's great. You've got my fax number? Okay, you've still got it. Okay, excellent. Are you going to fax it right now? Okay.
One of the notes was sent from a post office, and the police have asked the postmistress to help compile an identikit. She remembers the sender well. The note was sent by a young woman and signed White Eagle. Whilst his team continues gathering evidence in the Radloff case 700 miles away, Querbus is on his way to see Morris Smith, a notorious Satanist. Once the high priest of a satanic cell, Morris is now a useful source of information in other investigations. Querbus arrested him in 1997 after he committed a particularly brutal murder.
Morris had many of the followers that came along with him, and they decided that they want to make a new cell in dense bushes. They were actually hacking down bushes, and eventually they saw a homeless person in the vicinity. And then they realized, but you know, they needed a head for Halloween, and they said, no, but this guy's head will be perfect. So they fetched a hammer and a blunt knife, as well as an axe. And then he and two of his other members went and they just got hold of this guy. They smacked him with a hammer on the head, and Morris at that time said that he took the blunt knife to cut the guy's head off, but he battled with it with a knife. So then eventually they took an axe and they chopped this guy's head off.
Morris was sentenced to 30 years. Since his capture, Querbus has uprooted other satanic cells. He believes that there are several thousand practicing Satanists in South Africa.
Okay, come on, with mouth open. Okay, thank you, you can come in.
I love this sort of work, and I think God laid this on my way. Also got the